Thank you.
Everybody get one? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? Oh, I was gonna ask you. Smart. Yeah, I don't think quite quick together. Starting at 3?
Yeah, we're actually, we'll start through the can.
Okay.
All right, solving inequalities by multiplying and dividing. Basically one steppers again. For this one. Now, just like we did with the case here, 7 is less than 12. If I multiply both of those by 3, now this, I don't think this is on your, this part is not on there.
No.
Nope, that's fine, just pay attention. If I multiply 7 times 3, I get 21. 12 times 3 is 36. Well, 21 is still less than 36. 15 is less than 35. I think we agree with that. If I divide by 5, I get 3 on the one side, I get 7 on the other. It's still less than. Okay. You want to hit that power button? Just, I can pick any number. I just chose 3. Jalen? Yes. Ooh, 1985. Good year. The year Mr. Crow was born. I was in 9th grade.
Hey, today, do you guys know how to solve equations with multiplying and dividing? Okay? Do you know how to graph inequalities? Okay? That's all we're doing today. There's really only one simple rule that we're going to add. We're only adding one thing today that you don't know yet. And you will struggle with it. You'll forget it, but it's very, very important. Okay? But the first part here, you should already really know how to do this stuff.
Yeah, because you know 2x equals 8. What do we do? Divide by 2. All right. So this is basically, part of the concept that we're using. Now, all right, so you got that first one. It says solve the inequality and graph the solution. All right, this one is on your sheet. 7x is greater than negative 42. Divide by 7. Watch your signs. Okay, you calculate if you need to. Negative 42 divided by 7. Preston, what did they give me?
Negative 6.
All right, negative 6. All right, now for the most part, you're really good on your graphics, but don't take it for granted and just double check and make sure you get this right. Preston asked a good question about the less than or equal to the solid dot. Put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put in negative 6 in the middle because I don't want to start it. You don't have to start at 0. Negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, and then negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. Greater than means an open dot shaded to the right. Pick any number shaded to the right. If you plug it in, it should work. All right, give me, Grant, give me any number that falls in that shaded region.
Negative 2.
Negative 2, good. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Now don't forget, is negative 14 bigger than negative 42? Yes, so we know it works. Now here's what should happen. If it's a hollow dot, when you plug in that number, that's what makes those two equal. That's another double check. What's 7 times negative 6? Well, that's negative 42, which is the same as negative 42. It's not part of our answer because it doesn't make it bigger than it. But everything to the right does. Okay? So wherever we put that point should make it equal. Oh, Grant gave me, I just told him to pick a number that was in here, and he picked negative 2. And I plugged in negative 2 times 7. So that's where I got that. I was just doing a check. Okay. All right, 2.4 is less than or equal to m over 3. Well, how did we solve this before? Christian, what do you remember how we solved that before?
Times each side by 3.
Multiply each side by 3. Put it on the side. That cancels the 3 over here. Bless you. Okay, so I get 3 times 2.4 is 7.2 is less than or equal to m. Then don't stop right there, Sam. How I need to rewrite that.
M is less than or greater than 7.2.
All right, watch how you say that.
M is greater than or equal to 7.2.
And is that what you wanted right there? Okay, so that is correct. M is greater than or equal to 7.2. Now graphing it. Now for this one, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start at 7. And I'm gonna go to 8. I'm gonna go to 9. I'm gonna have 6, 5, 4. And I'm just gonna put a dot. Solid or hollow, Zachary? Solid dot. And I'm just gonna go right about where 7.2 is. And shade to the right. And if you want to make sure I know, just put 7.2 above it. Okay, like if you're iffy. All right, so you multiply both sides by 3. Done. Got our answer, but make sure you flip it and put the m first. Ooh, don't forget about these. Don't forget about 3/4 r is less than 12. Remember what you multiply by, Zachary.
You multiply both sides by 4 over 3.
By 4 over 3. Good. Okay, yes, 4 over 3. Rachel, let me know what you get. You got 16. Well, yeah, you should get 16. Yes. Now, R is less than 16. That would be correct. Graph that. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 16 in the middle. Goes up 17, 18, 19. Down here, 15, 14, 13, 12. That's plenty. Graphing that. Christian.
Hollow circle.
Okay, we're at 16. And shade which way?
On the left.
Hollow circle, shade to the left. Okay. All right, now take a look at that fourth one there.
Sure. I think you guys had the fraction bar in your calculator, but again, you can just type this in as 12 times 4 divided by 3 into your calculator, and that gives you the correct answer as well. I think sometimes you guys forget how to actually punch that in.
Yep, 12 times 4/3. It'll give you that answer. And I know my calculator looks different than yours, but it's the same process. Okay. All right, Caitlin, what do I divide by here?
5.
Divide by 5. Good. Now, when I divide by 5, what does that give me?
-10.
Okay. And then tell me what else to write.
-10 is greater than or equal to Q.
Good. And now here's what we got to do. You got to flip that. You got to flip that. And when I do flip that, how do I rewrite it? I write Q is less than or equal to -10. If it's pointing towards the Q, when I flip the order, it has to point to the Q. So that means I got 1, 2, -10, -9, -8, -11, -12. Solid dot at -10. Less than or equal to. Shaded to the left. Okay, less than or equal to, shaded to the left. Backward.
Do we have to write this rounding numbers?
Yeah, you can't just put -10. Because here's why. I got to know whether you know which direction, because I'm telling you, some people will put the wrong numbers there, and you got to show me that you know to put the right numbers there. Okay, you don't have to put like 16 of them, but at least a few. Okay? All right, now we come to the little trick Mr. Schler was telling us about. Okay, now this one isn't on your guided notes yet, so just pay attention. What happens when you multiply by a negative number? Do you agree -6 is less than 10? You agree?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna multiply both sides by -2. I got -6 is less than 10, and just pay attention. I multiply by -2. What is -2 times -6? It is 12. What is 10 times -2? Okay, which one's bigger? 12 is obviously bigger than -20. So we got to watch that because it says -6 is less than 10. If I multiply by a negative number, I get a different inequality. 12 is bigger than -20. Think about division as well. -6 is still less than 10. What if I divide by -2? -6 divided by -2 is 3. 10 divided by -2 is -5. Which one's bigger? 3. So you might remember this rule. What do you have to do when you multiply or divide by negative? Anytime you multiply or divide by negative, you have to flip the inequality. So that's that middle right there. So if you multiply both sides of an inequality by the same negative number, you must reverse the inequality sign. So instead of 8 is greater than 4, it becomes -16 is less than. So we're going to show you what happens in certain problems. If you divide both sides by a negative number, you must reverse the sign in order to make it true. If you keep the sign the same direction, it's not going to be true, because if I write less than, 12 is not less than -20. 3 is not less than -5. So how does that show up in the problems we're going to be doing? All right, so take a look right here. -12x is greater than 84. Okay, follow your rules. What do I divide by? I divide by -12. If I divide both sides by a negative number, that gives me x. I must flip that sign to make it true. Now, what's 84 divided by -7? Or -12? -7. So now here's my answer. X is less than -7. Okay, there's my answer. So when you divide by a negative, reverse the inequality sign. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's -7, -6, -5, -8, -9. Less than -7, open circle to the left. Now, if I'm going to check this, okay, Evan, and give me any number in that area. -10. -12 times -10 is positive 120. Is that bigger than 84? Yep. Anything over here won't work. Okay, anything to the right. So 0. -12 times 0 is 0. 0 is not bigger than 84. So you have to reverse that sign. Okay, number 6 there. -8 is less than or equal to x divided by -3, right? Got to get x by itself. All right, Brett, what do I multiply by? Multiply both sides by -3. That cancels. -8 times -3 is positive 24. What do I have to do to the sign? Okay. Flip it. So now instead of less than or equal to, it's greater than or equal to x. Do not leave that as your answer. Okay? Do not leave that as your answer. What do we do, Christian?
Flip the thing, so we have to do x is less than or equal to 24.
Less than or equal to 24. Okay, I'm not going to graph this one. We graphed it up the other one, so I'm not going to graph that. So x is less than or equal to 24. Okay. All right, now this 7. It's just easy to miss this one, just to make a kind of mistake. Just want to make sure I highlight it. 10 is greater than or equal to -x. You can't have this is x isn't by itself. Okay, exactly what I need to do.
You divide both sides by -1.
I need to divide by -1, like he said. Now that is a negative number. 10 divided by -1 is -10. This will reverse to less than or equal to, and then this is x. Do not keep it. the x needs to be first. X is greater than or equal to -10. So now I will graph this one. That's -10, -9, -8. And then greater than or equal to is a solid dot. Shaded to the right. Okay, solid dot shaded to the right. When do I flip the sign? When do I flip the inequality? Okay, Zane?
After we divide,
By what?
by a negative,
Divide, or there's one other thing. Multiply by a negative number. Okay, now that's only when you multiply or divide. Now, here's the thing. Once we give you this rule, if you see something like 4x is less than 24, I divide by 4. You do not flip that sign because I did not divide by a negative. I divided by 4. So don't just because you see a negative, don't just start flipping the sign. Only if you actually divide by a negative.
I think the first example on here was 7x is greater than -42. Well, we showed you that example, and we hadn't even gone over this rule yet, okay? Because -42 obviously is a negative number, but we divided it by a positive number, so we don't have to worry about the sign, okay?
All right, flip it over in the back. Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one. Flip it over in the back. All right, we can set up an inequality. Read through that one, and we'll set it up together. Read through that one. Okay, Jill has $20 gift card to an art supply store with 4-ounce tubes of paints are $4.30, including tax. Doesn't say. Oh, yeah, it says it. After tax. What are the possible number of tubes that Jill can buy? Sometimes people just don't know how to answer this question. Okay, it's not hard, you just make it harder than it is. All right, so here, think about this. Can anybody set up an inequality? Joe? Right, that's what we're gonna do. But how do I set up an inequality? I want to do that first. But you're right, we're gonna get to that.
20 is less than or equal to, I'm lost.
What are we buying?
4 tubes of paint for $4.30.
Well, not 4 tubes, but 4-ounce tubes. So don't let that throw you off. It's just telling you how big they are. It really means nothing in this problem. Okay, they're just making it's a distractor.
430x.
430x. All right, now he's got something slightly wrong with it. Slightly wrong with it. Anybody pick up what's wrong with it, huh? Needs to be flipped. We want the amount he's spending to be less than 20. So we want 430x is less than or equal to 20. Okay? Now, Joe, how do I solve that? Divide 20 by 430. And now, all right, what does that give me? That doesn't give me a nice number. Go ahead and divide it. Rachel, what's it give me? Bless you. What's it?
4.6.
Yeah, 4.6. All right, now, how do you write the answer? Because you just can't leave that. That doesn't tell me what the question's asking. How do you write the answer backwards?
I mean, you just write down 4.
Okay, you're close, but he's not entirely correct because of how the question is worded.
Would you round it up?
Because if you go up, it has to be less than 4.6. If you go up to 5, that's going to be more than $20. Okay?
We asked you to round appropriately, yes, but again, it goes back to what the question asking.
It says, what are the possible numbers of tubes that Jill can buy? She can buy 4, but is that it? What else could she buy?
2-ounce tube.
She could, well, they're all the same ounces. They're all the same ounces, right? She can buy 4 tubes. That's the most she can buy. Can she buy less than that? Yeah, it just says, what are the possible possible number of tubes she could buy. Whoops. So she could buy 1, she could buy 2, she could buy 3, or 4 tubes of paint. Okay, so you gotta watch it the way it's worded. Technically, you buy 0, but if you're gonna buy tubes of paint, why would you buy 0? Okay, that doesn't make sense. But so the most she could buy is 4. The most she could buy is 4. But she could buy 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay. All right, I do need to cover this last one. What is the greatest possible integer solution for this? Now, here's the issue with this one: is a lot of you forget what an integer is. Okay, here's integers. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here on the side. Are positive and negative whole numbers. So you can't have any decimals, you can't have any fractions. So what is the greatest possible integer solution for this one? So which of those numbers would work? Well, to solve it like we normally would, we would divide by 2.36. We divide by 2.36. But it doesn't give me a nice answer. Sam, let me know what it says.
4.2372.
4.2372. Now again, you have to be able to answer the question asked. What is the greatest possible integer solution for that problem? Okay? What would the answer be? What is the biggest integer that is smaller than 4.23? Zachary?
Should be x is less than 4.
It would just be the number 4. Okay? We wouldn't need to say this. So what is the biggest integer? Well, the biggest integer would be 4, because 2.36 times 4 is 9.44. That's less than 10. But 2.36 times 5 is bigger than 10. So that's the biggest integer, because that's the way it's worded.
When I have that decimal, the only two numbers I can even consider are 4 and 5. And then you gotta figure it out from there.
But we want it to be smaller than that, so it's got to be 4. Okay, so you got to watch how that's worded. Those last two questions, they're not overly difficult, but you got to watch how they're worded. All right, 1 through 17 odd. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. That's 8 problems. You're talking about 10 or 11 problems. You only have to graph 5 of them. Okay, from those. Quiz tomorrow, we will review in the beginning of class, go over the homework. It's not a long quiz, very short quiz. Very short quiz. And what we did yesterday.
Is the absolute value stuff on the quiz?
No absolute value stuff, just graphing inequalities, solving one-step inequalities. Good question.